That ain't thunder. That's Logisticize rolling in. Headlights cut, small town night, dust flies up in the neon light. Hauling miles with a heavy load, pulling up on the gravel road. Steel toe boots on a wooden stage, a little rust and a rebel rage. From the back roads to the show, when the engine starts, you know. Feel that rumble in your chest, like a diesel hard out west. We're Logisticize, going loud and mean. Red dirt rebels on the gasoline dream. Turn it up, let the tailgate drive. We don't slow down, we don't ever stop. From the back road straight to your soul. We came here just to lose control. If you're ready, let me hear you shout. Logisticize is rolling out. Six-string crying, a kick jump pound, booty heel stomping on southern ground. Cold drinks raised till the night's on fire, bringing heat like a flat-out tide. No GPS on a rebel route, we don't ask where we don't have doubt. If there's a stage in a wild crowd, crank it up and we play it loud. Feel that shake in the floor, that's the sound you waited for. We're Logisticize, rolling loud and mean. Red dirt rebels on the gasoline train. Turn it up, let the tailgate drop. We don't slow down, we don't ever stop. From the back row straight to your soul. We came here just to lose control. If you're ready, let me hear you shout. Logisticize is rolling out. Well, Logisticize coming in hot, full tank fire, give it all we got. Let it rip like a midnight ride, bring in thunder you can't deny. From the black top to your hometown bar tonight, we're taking it way too far. So throw 'em up, let the whole world shout. Logisticize is in the house. Welcome to Logisticize 104. Hosted by Doug Holbrook. Y'all ready? Let's ride.
All right, welcome everybody back to the Logisticize 104. We are on episode 12, I believe. We're up to episode 12. Today here in the studio, I'm going to have Rick and Justin joining me. We're going to start talking a little bit about the driver landscape out there. It's time for... It's time.
Can you make this quieter?
Can I make it quieter? We can make it quieter. There you go. Is that better? That's way better. Mine was cranked up too.
Well, if I want somebody to yell at me, I'll go home.
That is very true. I'm waiting for that when I get home. I don't think I printed some labels off right for her. So, all right, guys. Hey, Rick, I know that we're waiting to do your last podcast. I don't think this is going to be it. We want to hear the Logisticize story and the future of Logisticize. I know I've been asked a few times, but today, Justin and Rick came in to talk about, well, this is about the time of year drivers start moving around and things, and the job market kind of shakes up. So they want to talk to you guys a little bit out there about what to look for and kind of what the expectations are. Justin, I'm going to pass this microphone over to you, let you take off here with Rick. Welcome, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in.
So yeah, the main reason, that I wanted to get with everyone here is we got veteran drivers out there, been around for a long time. They've seen the ups and downs in the market. They have weathered the storms and such. And then you've got drivers that are newer to the industry and such, and they have not weathered the storm and the ups and downs. And it's just whenever you get into a economy like we are moving into, it's just one of the things. Everybody gets all excited and they get all jittery and such like that. And they think, oh, this is going to last forever. This is going to be, this is like the new norm and such. And, I just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about, okay, what is really going on? What is the typical cycle? How it affects the driver?
Yeah.
Okay. How it affects us here as a company. And, just kind of walk down through it. The economy right now, the word to be used is cautiously positive. Okay. And so, yeah, we're seeing more loads available. We're seeing some other indications that the economy is gaining some traction.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, as this economy is getting some traction, and we're done maybe bombing Iran or Iraq or whoever we're trying to eliminate. Yeah,
This
over there.
week,
Yeah, exactly. So people are feeling positive about what's going on. Everybody in the business side, again, is cautiously positive. They're feeling good about it, but they have seen what happens when it goes up too fast. It comes down too fast. And as we know in trucking for the last 3 years, it's been tough. It's been real tough and such. And
it's been pretty tough since like November of 23. We'd see short spikes come up and do pretty good. But even talking to Brian and Kurt here lately, like you said, it's really, like you said, cautiously optimistic, but we can see the freight starting to pick up to where there's a much higher demand on what people are asking us to do.
Right. So what happens when you come out of a bottom market or a low market and such, and you start gaining some traction out there becomes more loads, becomes more people getting into the industry, let's say new carriers, something like that. Everybody's looking to fill their seats. Okay, because I'm a trucking company, and we're going along with a couple trucks, and now our the people we're hauling for, they need some more trucks, so they run out and buy trucks. Well, about the time you get the truck on, you get things situated, everyone's afraid this economy is going to drop back down again and such. So as they're needing to fill the trucks, what's the first thing they do, Justin?
What's the first thing they do?
Yeah, what's the way they do?
They say, I can pay you thousands and thousands of dollars a week.
Yes.
$25,000 sign-on bonus after 5 years of being
Exactly. So, and then you know what happens is you have drivers that will jump from one company to the next, and they're chasing the dollar. And what really happens there is they can never catch that dollar.
Right.
You know, if they and don't get me wrong, I want everybody to prosper, whether here at Logisticize or wherever you would go, or wherever leads you through life and such. I want everybody to grow and to do better for yourself. However, you get with some other trucking company owners, maybe around our size or bigger, and they just see people moving around, and then people all of a sudden, then they're looking for a job again. Okay. And so what happens in the cycle, like we had said earlier, there is, a customer gets busier, somebody gets busier, so they need to hire someone. And all of a sudden they're telling the guy, oh, look, here's how much money you can make. This is how it's going to be. It's never going to, this will never slow down. And next thing you know, 3 months down the road, oh, well, we don't have enough loads to keep you busy. Or we're a newer trucking company, and our MC number isn't that old. No one's letting us come into them and such like that. It becomes a real issue.
Yeah, and especially with the Supreme Court ruling that came down with the liability put back on brokers, it'll be that much more important on the safety side of things, so we can get that freight. But what happens is these companies go out, they have all this debt after 3 months of the freight, like you talked about, and when they're not established like a company like us, then they're just out of luck. The drivers, we've seen it left and right, Montgomery, all these other trucking lines that just shut their doors. You can't even get fuel to get home.
Right. And it's very discouraging how sometimes that will happen to a trucking company and such. And Doug, I appreciate you bringing up about the Supreme Court ruling and such. I think it's pretty exciting times. Now, if I was a broker, maybe it's not so exciting.
They're not liking it so much right now.
Okay. But as a carrier, we're able to knock on more people's doors. We're getting more customer freight now than we've ever had and such like that. And the one thing that everyone has to think about in this market is, okay, you go in and you give them a rate of $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And on a customer side, you give them a rate of $1,000. In 3-4 months, it's still $1,000.
Yep.
But if you're on the broker side, it might be 1,000 today, 1,100 tomorrow, and then 800 in 2 weeks. And so what entices people is, well, I can make more money, over
Yep.
here. No, you can't. It's slow and steady, is it? And such. And
Well, it's a long game. It's not a short term.
very much a long game.
Yes. If you're looking to take care of yourself financially, you have to plan ahead more than 2 weeks. Cause
Yeah.
like you suggested, it's going to run great for 2 weeks, but after that, or 3 months or whatever it is, after that, they don't have freight for you and they don't have nothing for you to do. And if there's no freight, there's no pay.
Right. And it's just one of those things that gives the industry a bad name.
Yes, it does.
And such like that. So, as we get looking at the change of this landscape of freight, and you start looking, and if this economy is going to stay strong, what's the long term? Like you said, how do we tell a guy, listen, well, just I guess it's really the past you want to look at, Justin. In 2023, 24, 25, when it was slow for most of the economy, did drivers' pay fluctuate that much for us?
No, for us, our driver's pay stayed the same. It might have been slightly lower, but yeah, our guys were percentage, obviously differs from the mileage guys, but
Sure, yeah.
our percentage flatbed guys, they were pretty much equally in there. It might have not have been as a week to week where, I can earn more money and things are moving a little bit more, but yeah, our guys, we did not have to drop any wages or anything like that to stay afloat.
Yeah. And that's really where I'm trying to get at is when the market changes, we're still going to be steady. We're going to be in there. And so if you look long term, as Doug keeps talking, it's going to be good. The couple of things that I looked up for this, and just some interesting facts and such like that, is in 2021, okay, until now, our weekly driver's pay has gone up 29%.
That's a big
Okay.
jump in a
Okay.
down economy.
29%. It's going up.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the inflation rate has done in that time?
The inflation rate's gone up.
Pace-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
No?
we're 6% ahead, 6 to
Okay.
9% ahead of the inflation rate. So everyone's talking, oh, my hamburger costs more. Yeah, but you're making more
Making
also.
30% more essentially.
Yes, yeah. So the difference is still you're making
Yep.
about 6 to 10% more for your dollar than you did back in 21. So I thought that was pretty
And
interesting.
you break it down over the course of a year. That's on $100,000 a year for a guy. That's 10 grand. I mean, It's
Exactly.
not a small chunk of change by any means, but it's understanding it's the long, like you said, it's the long plan.
Yes,
You have to look at that.
right. And the average pay for a truck driver in 2020. I went back to 2020. I thought, okay, let's get this COVID thing out of the way. Let's go to
Yeah.
2020 and
Yep.
see what it was. Okay, the average pay was around $45,000
A year.
a year
Wow.
in 2020.
Okay.
6 years later, the average, we're going across the United States here, is 85,000. Okay.
That's incredible.
Okay. Our average right now is almost or at 100,000 and such. So we are more than keeping pace for that, across the whole
Well,
spectrum here and such.
Especially where we're based at here in Paulding, Ohio, you cost of living and I know Georgia's a little bit higher down there, but we have a few guys that are in between. At $100,000, you're well above the median for most areas you're going to live in anywhere in the Midwest.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
And you should be able
So-
to live comfortably at that point.
So then I dug in a little further and I said, okay, a flatbed driver, where does its numbers at and such? Because there is a difference between, when you start looking at numbers, you can make numbers say whatever you want. You know what I mean?
You can.
Yeah. And so when you say truck drivers, they might have a guy in there pulling a box truck. Okay. But when you get into flatbeds, it kind of sorts it back out a little bit better and such.
Yeah.
And one of the things is, especially on our flatbed side, we're about 15% better than most companies out there on the flatbed side. So we're paying 15% more than those. And so, I just bring that into light saying, listen, everyone's yelling about the economy. Everyone's yelling about the inflation. Okay, let's look at the numbers here. Now, guess what? If you really think back into 2020, and it still hurt to go to the gas station. It
did,
still
yeah.
hurt to go to the grocery store, and it hurt back in 1994 when I got into this industry, or 1984 when I got.
I was going to say,
it hurt just as bad then. So it's all relative. It really is as you go forward here and such.
But a lot of people don't look at the spectrum of the numbers and make that full comparison. They're just it's kind of more of a personal thing where, hey, I'm feeling the heat.
Well,
it must be this, instead of actually looking.
Well, and the thing is, maybe Justin can talk about this a little bit more, but it's the first liar never has a chance. Okay.
Right.
So the thing is, when someone says that, how much you making? Oh, I'm making, X.
Yep.
Well, trust me, I was a truck driver. I tell them, really, man, I'm making way more than that. Make up some crazy story. And they're like, oh boy, I should go to work for that company. No, what we make it. But, it's like I said, the first liar doesn't have a chance. So,
Yep.
So Justin, what I really wanted to kind of get you involved in here a little bit and such. And we talk about the economics, we talk about the long-term view and such like that. It really should be scary for people. If this speeds up too fast, it just means it's going to come down faster and such. And like I said, I want people to look and say, okay, back in when it was slow, we were still all working. How many people did you get to call in that were out of jobs and such?
Out of jobs back then?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a handful of people that were, maybe they had a job, but were sitting this particular day or something like that. They weren't running 5 days or a full week with
Okay.
it. So, I mean, there was a good amount of people that would call in, when I first started 2022, I guess that, I'm working, but I'm sitting at home and I keep waiting for this next load and they're not calling me and they're not calling me and they're not calling me, that sort of thing.
Well, they got used to about $1,500, $2,000 a week, and then when the economy slowed down, they're making $700-800 a week. That's a big chunk to try to make up for them.
Right.
So yeah, with that idle time and those bills and that stress piling up, you start looking.
So
And
I
that's
just
what they
wonder
did.
if you ran the numbers and said, okay, you work for somebody that doesn't keep you busy, and you set for a day or two a week. So you go from making $1,500 a week, $2,000 a week. All of a sudden now this week you're making $1,000 or whatever. How long does it take to recoup that money?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You just think about it. How long does it take to recoup that money? And it's one of the things that I'm sad that I can report that I've heard drivers say this. It's like, let's say they want to leave and move on. It's like, what are you going to do? Oh, I don't know yet. Well, why are you leaving? Well, I'm not making the money I thought I was going to. I'm like, wait, stop a second. Okay, let's do a little math here. Okay, you're making X.
Yep.
And you don't think it's enough. So you're going to quit this job. You're going to go look for a job. So that's going to take a week. And then it's going to be another week for an orientation.
Another week for drug tests, orientation, all that kind of fun stuff. Yep.
So you're probably 3 weeks out till you're actually on the road back making money
At a minimum.
at the same level that you left for, right?
Right.
Yes.
So if you're averaging $2,000 a week, you have essentially lost $6,000, okay, to make this transfer.
Yes.
So you make $2,000 here, but over here I can make $2,300. Okay, just a quick math in my head here and such. Okay, it's going to take them 42 weeks to get back to just to even before they start actually making any more money.
above and beyond what they would have after the loss.
Exactly.
And there's truly,
Exactly.
once you leave the money on the table, the magic answer is you don't ever recover it.
Well, you
It's
don't.
money gone.
Yes.
So there, essentially, you've hurt yourself even worse, because if you were in a bad situation, you now have gone without the income for 2
Right.
weeks, and you're just going to sit there and constantly have to be in that truck and constantly try to hammer out miles to even get back to where you were.
So, Justin, when you look at applications,
Mhm.
what about job hoppers?
Job hoppers.
Yeah, job hoppers, and explain what I mean by job. You
Sure.
know, yeah,
You know, when people apply or something, and we talked about this.
Yeah.
I don't know, a month ago or
so
so.
you did okay.
Well, a little bit, but application comes in. More than not, most people are putting where I've been, what they've done, and stuff like that. You start looking at guys, month here, 2 months here, and it's, it might be broken promises or low pay or something like that. But if you're somewhere for a month and you tell me low pay, we just discussed, you haven't given yourself a chance to make it to that, probably what you could make. But job hoppers, they come here, it's going to be the same thing. So that's something I don't want to say I automatically dismiss,
Well, I
but
was going to say,
yeah.
does that have some weight on whether you?
100% does. It raises red flags. For us, behind the scene costs, orientation costs, all that fun stuff. It takes us maybe month, 2 months to recoup that
Yeah.
at least. And, so is it worth it on our side as well? So there's a lot of red flags that go up,
Right.
and it's harder to get in, I would say, than if, hey, I was here for so long.
So on the safety side, Doug, when you get a job hopper and such, on the safety side, what do the numbers show on people when they move jobs?
Typically someone that doesn't have any stability or quite frankly, probably know what they want, doesn't settle in, they don't get into a rhythm, they don't get accustomed to our system, and they
Or a system,
or any
whoever.
system for that
Any
matter.
system,
Yeah,
yeah.
to be honest. And
Yeah.
it's just typically a struggle. It's a struggle because it's new technology they're learning every other month. It just goes on and on, what you have to learn at each carrier.
Sure.
And it just doesn't go well typically. It
Yeah.
usually takes about I would say almost 2 months typically. Now the guys catch on some sooner than others, but it's about 2 months before they settle into our system and you kind of see their scores align with the rest of the fleet.
Sure. So then when, Justin, when you're looking at a guy's application or whatnot and such, or better than that, okay,
Mhm.
a driver calls you up, hey, Justin, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, we can get you in for a drug screen. When you would be ready to start? It's like, well, I can start tomorrow. What do you got? What goes through your mind right away when someone says, I can start tomorrow?
Red flags again, I guess. They don't know what they want. And again, whether they want to disclose that they're job hopping or not, that's the kind of thoughts, I guess, that come through my mind. Let's slow down. I'm not saying let's take a month, 2 weeks, whatever. Things do happen where a person might not have a job, but typically more times than not, it's not a person we want because again, they just don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, if they don't have enough respect for the previous employer to give any type of notice and they're willing to bail on them, is that someone that we really want to introduce into our fleet?
Well, great point. Sorry about that,
No.
Justin. Great point. Okay. When a driver just up and quits.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my last load. Okay. Have you told anybody? Oh no, this is my last load. Okay. So if you would have called in today and we would have said you didn't have a load, would have you been mad if you were going to work? Well, yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I said, so see, us and every other carrier out there is booking their freight ahead to keep you busy. So, one of the things I want to say to everyone, and then again revert back, is professional courtesy.
Yes.
Okay, is listen. Okay, and I'm not saying that there isn't carriers out there. If you give your notice, they'll say, "There's the door. We can't get you to it quick enough." Okay. Right. But for the most part, of ones that I talk to, or Justin or Doug, is most of them are like going to respect that, because here's a guy who cares. Because once again, at least in my life, I burnt some bridges that I wish I wouldn't have.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. And so now I know, don't burn a bridge. Probably going to cross that bridge again. You know what I mean?
Eventually.
Exactly.
Or at least there may be a need eventually.
Exactly. So what I encourage the guys out there, is listen, if it's not working out here or any other place, okay, slow down a little bit, take a breather. I mean, when somebody up and throws up their arms and walks away, it's like we said, you're never going to get that money back that you're going to chase. You're never going to, you're wait and come in and he's the type of guy that hauls the first load. And what's he want?
What's he want? He wants an advance.
He wants an advance. Why? Well, I'm broke. I just can't got no money. Well, you just
You just got out of a truck. We picked you up in Illinois.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. And such. So as we talked about this with the evolving driver thing here, as we're coming into, it's not new ground that we're coming into. Some of the people, it will be new ground.
Yeah.
But for the most of us, we've been through it. Take yourself a breath. Look long term, wherever you are. I don't care, and probably the worst recruiter there is, Justin.
Well, no, I mean, I'm with you on that. It's the same thing. It's like, you kind of hit on it earlier. Like, we don't ever want to stop somebody from growing or doing something like that. But is it for the right reasons, I guess?
Well,
really take a look. I guess, I don't know if I want to say take a look in the mirror and say, I'm leaving this job to go over here because they're guaranteeing me $2,300 a week or, whatever it is. Is it a right move? Go back to long term. Again, we don't want to stunt anybody's growth or, hey, I can think of a guy maybe a year or two ago that, hey, I really want to go into tankers. We don't have tankers. All the power to you. Sat down, put his 2 weeks notice in.
Yep.
And hey, if tankers don't work out, hey, the door's open for you to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, I've had that over the years. People come in and the respect.
Right.
Okay. And they will sit down and here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about it? Rick, you've been in it a long time. Okay. Yeah. Or Justin, you've done recruiting for a long time. Are they telling us a whole bunch of, blowing me a bunch of smoke? No, I can think of a guy up by Kendallville, Indiana that had a great opportunity to go and do something different and such, but sat down and actually talked about it. It's like, well, you're right. That's a good opportunity. You need to go for that. Okay.
Well, and with that, coming into sitting down and talk to us, that leaves the door open. How many times have we rehired drivers just since I've been here? And it was a little alarming to me at first, but after being in our environment and how we conduct business here, I get it. The guy did the right thing. He sat down, he had a discussion. He goes, I want to go do this. Like Justin said, maybe it's something we can't offer. Maybe it's something out of a truck, whatever the case may be. But when the time came and they said, I tried this, it didn't work out. I think I like it better here. So it's open arms. It's coming in. We have a seat in the truck and we can put you to work.
Well, what's alarming is me and Justin were in Chicago at a peer group, and it was on recruiting and such. And it was brought up about return drivers. The driver leaves and come back. Some people have a black line. No,
Yeah.
do not hire those people back, and regardless of the situation. And we can sit here. No, we ain't gonna lie to you. There's drivers, if they come back and they want to hire,
No.
okay.
Right.
However, there are a lot of good guys, like you said, going out, tried something. This hasn't worked or whatever and such. Some of the companies had different, deals that they had kind of going on with return drivers and such. But, on return drivers for us, if a guy goes and wants to come back, I think it's a great deal. I mean,
It's so much easier for us too. We don't have to do a full orientation.
Yeah.
The guy knows our system. It's not starting someone fresh that has nothing to do with us or knows anything.
well, but in people's mind is, well, you're going to treat me wrong. You're going to, it's like, okay,
why would we have you
Why
back?
would
Yep.
we have you back?
Exactly.
Exactly.
It would completely defeat the purpose to bring a stress in that we didn't want to deal with.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And such like, and that's one of the things where, trucking has struggled with this for years on, okay, how do you lock a guy in long term? How do you get a guy to come in and to be a, I guess this is
A retiree.
a retire, yeah,
Of-
go
yeah.
all the way.
Yeah.
It's the people that come in just and say, I'm just looking for a home. I just really want the family atmosphere. Okay. Well, see, I can understand why you're having family problems if you just one day drop the truck off here and abandon it. It's like, is that how you treat your family? It's like,
Exactly.
oh, okay, very good. I see why Thanksgiving is a little tough. Whatnot.
Need that extra day after.
Yeah.
Exactly, and such like that. So I mean, have you heard much on how you keep drivers long term, Justin, to do it?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer. There's I don't know. We were talking the other day. It's what the average person stays at a job for 7 years, I think,
7 years,
is what we found. And it's
and that's from doctors all the way down.
sure
to,
it's not just trucking.
to- yeah,
That's
yeah.
across the U.S. 7 years and stuff. So, I mean, I wish I had that answer, right? Like, what would keep a person here? Things change. We've talked about in the past. You're going to get upset here. You're going to get upset there. How do you deal with that sort of thing? I think with us, I don't know. I feel like we've always kind of been steady Eddie. We introduce new things. We do different things. But at the same time, we're steady. I don't know how to say that, right?
Well,
and it's showing that.
We take our time before we make a decision that we decide to roll out to the fleet, and we're like, is this going to be good? And typically I'm the one that's gung-ho all at first, and you guys got to back me way down because I'll get all excited about something. But no, I think there's a lot more forethought put into it here and to try to have a minimal impact and usually a positive impact if we can on our fleet.
Well, one of the things that drivers have is a lot of windshield time.
Right.
Okay. And so they're sitting there thinking. You bring out something new. Okay. They are, okay, wait, where's the hole? What are they trying to do? How are they
Exactly.
going to screw me in this deal?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so they've got the time to think that over and such like that. So yeah, we are probably a little bit slower on rolling out things. Look at our safety bonus there and such. That's kind of evolved over how many years? 3-4 years.
I mean,
now?
yeah, I think
4
we've had
years.
it. What we have currently in place now, I think we changed it twice since I've been here to get
Okay.
to where it's at now.
Yeah. And do you think most guys like it?
Yeah, I mean, I
Well,
think
so it's money for doing what you're legally supposed to do anyway. Back when I drove, I didn't have a job if I didn't do those things. If you want to pay me an extra grand of $1,500 a month, I'm on board.
Exactly.
I maybe I'll throw in something here. We are looking at, or not looking, we got something, I guess, here. We'll probably get out to you guys in a month or two. It'll be an app that you guys can see actually your
Fleet Ops.
Fleet Ops,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
Fleet
that's
Ops.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll
We're
be
testing it now.
Yeah, we'll be releasing it out to you guys where you can track day by day what your bonus is going to be. And one of the very first feedback we got was, do you want to keep it or do you want to change it? And I want to keep it. This is working well for us. And this is a very generous bonus program
From Fleet Ops.
from Fleet Ops. This
Yeah.
is an outside company
They
that
do a lot
this
of-
is their bread and butter. This is what they do. They deal in driver bonuses.
Yeah.
And this is a very generous bonus, and so I mean, you think about that and things like that. And again, you talked about there's got to be something there, and the more we can portray like, hey, there's not a lot of things that will disqualify you from your bonus, kind of like you said, just be safe, do what you need to do. And
Yeah.
I'm paying you $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 extra dollars a month.
It's really something about that. Most of the older drivers, not just old in age, have been here for a while. They're like, shouldn't we be doing that anyhow? Oh yeah, okay, really you do. So you get the people that say, oh, this bonus and such, they just do what you're supposed to. I mean, I think it's very generous. I think that is one thing, and that, like we had alluded, that okay, as trucking evolves here, we want safe drivers, and us being somewhat self-insured, we are. I would rather give the dollar we have to a driver
Yes.
than I would to somebody that we just hit over here and such. And one of these days we're going to do a podcast, Doug, on what an accident really costs. I think people would be just amazed at how many hours we do. They say, "Oh, it's just a little fender bender."
It takes a lot of time to get everything squared away.
But we'll get into that someday. We need to have one because I think education is a wonderful thing. So here with the safety bonus and such, that's something out there that we're evolving and such.
I mean, that's pretty good to sit there and have an app on your phone. You can look at, not while you're driving, please. And when you get stopped, you can see what your bonus is right then and there that day, what disqualifies you. I mean, that technology is not available to a lot of drivers out there. Nobody's doing that for them for the most part.
Well, and we all think we're good until you start putting yourself up against someone else, and so
we have a competition that the whole fleet's doing right now out there for the entire month of June. It was the back off battle. So essentially we've been monitoring following distance, and most of the fleet's pretty good, and we do have a lot of good drivers. You can see it reflected in those numbers, but that's just another thing out there with that technology that we can do and have a little fun with doing this too. It doesn't have to be all serious. Yes, the point of the battle is serious, but why not have a little bit of fun and play some games with it too?
Exactly. So, as you're looking at pay, you're looking at other things and such like that. Just what typically is something important to a driver when they do come in, or somebody leaves our company? Is it because they're not getting home, or is it, everybody? I'm the same way. I'd love to stay home and get paid.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we're all better. Okay, but welcome to the real world. Okay.
Yeah. Different things. I think I've had several discussions with different drivers and stuff. And, some people, insurance is a huge thing. Some people, it's vacation time's a huge thing. I don't think I've ever really gotten the comment of getting or they're not getting home enough maybe, or whatnot. But yeah, typically when we look at things, it might be, at the end of the year, I'll just throw benefits in a bucket, I guess, and, include all that kind of stuff in there.
Well, one of the things that I did look up, and it's a survey that drivers did and such out there. And the top one, it was home time.
Right.
They wanted more home time.
Yep.
Okay. I think we can check that off the list pretty well and such like that because of what we see.
Right.
With our drivers. The second thing was schedules. They drivers do not like the 4:30 in the morning unloading appointments and the 11:30 at night pickup appointments and such like that. They just don't.
That's the best time. No one else is awake.
Well, it's the best time to drive, maybe.
Yeah.
So the third one, and it's kind of covered here with what we've been doing with our guaranteed pay, is unpaid wait time. You know what I mean? That's always been a struggle, detention and such like that. How do you do that and such like that? So that was the third one. The fourth one was stress. Now, the stress led from not knowing what they were going to get paid. And I thought, well, that's very interesting. We're kind of ahead of this ball game. Yep. If they're worried about what getting paid, they know what they're getting paid. And the other thing, it was that went into equipment.
Yep.
And such. Those are the big things on that. So, I know you've been working on it, Justin. Where are you guys at with your next thing you're going to release?
Yeah, next thing. We'll just kind of come out and say it, right? Very exciting. We've been working on it. A lot of people here in the office have been working on it for a while. Again, before I get to it, we'll say, we might be a little slow at releasing things, but we want to make sure it makes sense for you. It's easy to understand. yeah, on that side. So the next thing we'll be releasing here July 1st. So here in a couple weeks, and obviously this is for company drivers. We're going to be instituting a paid time off policy, and we're going to be instituting holiday pay now on that side.
Yeah, and is that something drivers are asking for, or?
Yeah, I think drivers are asking for that. You know, it's always, you're looking forward to that holiday, right? I get an extra day at home or something like that. But at the end of the week, it's like, I did not plan for that.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. So what we're doing, hoping with this is, you know, take some of that stress away. And at the same time, you know, as far as this holiday pay time off with this is, you know, I think we've always been very, I don't know, I'll say generous or I don't know.
That's a good
just
word.
Letting, you know, unrestricted with people taking time off when they need to take time off and stuff. And I can understand, you know, like if I take this time off, I'm not getting paid. So can I afford to take this time off? You know, different things like that. But I think that's very well appreciated by a lot of our drivers, as much flexibility as we give them in the time off and things like that. So with this, you know, I think it's just that added benefit and that extra, you know, that extra security blanket when people can take time off and relieve the stress, I guess.
Sure.
Like that, you know?
Sure. Well, it's always been a struggle over the years on holiday pay, and that is because we're a service industry. Okay, we're like the people that come and after a tornado and clean up your basement or whatever and such. Like, okay, we're a service industry. They need us when they need us, so we need to be there when they need us.
Yep.
Okay, and we're not the General Motors of the world that says, okay, at 5:00 at this time we're off, and you don't have. No, it's not the way it is. So it's always been a struggle for holiday pay and how to work that into the equation. And then again with your PTO here, it took us a while to kind of come up with the plan that guys can bank PTO and they can build PTO and they can go, you know, on that vacation or whatnot. You know, I'm going to back up to say, you know, years ago, it used to be somebody would come in and, okay, your first year, you get a week's vacation.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So at your anniversary, you have a week's vacation. Okay. But, you know, if they took a Friday off, you know, sometime during that year, they just didn't get paid.
Yep.
Okay. They had to be there a year till they got their vacation pay. And I had a guy, his name was Thad Kruger, great driver and such, lives over in Defiance. I think he's hauling garbage now. I don't know. Whatever Thad's doing, he's a great guy. Anyhow, he's sat down. He says, Rick, I've been running some numbers here. Just listen to me and such. And it's like, okay. And we went down through it, and I liked what he was showing. He's like, if you would just raise our pay X per week, the smart ones of us are going to save our money. And at the end of the year, we're going to have actually more money than that week that you would pay us.
Yep.
And he says, no more trackability. You know, you don't have to track it or anything like that. Put it on us. And I rolled that out to drivers, and some of the guys caught on to it right away. They understood. Listen, I am getting paid my vacation pay every day,
Right.
or every week, or well, actually back then I think it was every 2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. They were getting that, and some of them would have us set up a separate account. I think some guys do it now with you too, but have a separate account, put $100 in that every week, and then they had more than enough money to go on vacation or whatever they wanted to do.
Well, probably by that time, if they're putting more in that, they could pay for the vacation, have the income they lost from that, taking that vacation in there. And when they come back, it's just step back in the seat, and it's like nothing's ever missed at home.
Well, number 4 here was stress. I think that's part of it. So I'm hoping this PTO will help relieve some stress for guys. You know, my number one thing that I love, I heard it just a couple of weeks ago. We had a driver that went on a cruise. We got, you know, some guys that like riding their bikes down through the mountains or pickup trucks up the mountains. I don't know, but I love it when I hear that someone goes on vacation. That was, if anything makes me have joy as a employer, is when I hear that somebody went on vacation, because that just makes me very happy, because they work hard. Go play hard. Okay. And, you get the people that say, well, can I just cash out my vacation, or whatever it is, and take the cash? No, this was me years ago. No, you need to step away from it and such like that. And, but we ended up changing it. And now, it's like you're evolving it the next step, Justin, here with the PTO. So I think that's pretty exciting and such like that. So yeah, we probably rambled on here past our time, guys. I don't know where we're at and such.
Yeah. I think, just kind of wrapping up maybe is just, there's going to be a lot of promises that are going to be, that you're going to see out there, I guess, and hey, maybe a lot of them are true. They might not be true. I would just say, do your homework. Maybe, doing a job switch is a big life move, I would say.
I hope so.
Stuff. Yeah, and stuff like that.
More than
and
what is considered today.
Right. And same thing applies. Like, hey, come talk to me, come talk to Rick, whoever, if something's going on with your pay. Have I messed up pay? 100%. I'll raise my hand, but I'll admit to it, and we'll make sure you get right on that side of things. So, but as far as releasing of the PTO and holiday plan, guys, we'll kind of go over it in detail. I'll send out an email with everything, and there'll be new handbooks that you guys will have to sign, obviously, for that. And, but yeah, it's exciting. And I hope you guys will appreciate and enjoy what's going on and how we're doing this. So,
okay. So one of the things I wanted to touch on is that here with the changing economy, evolving driver, and people making promises and such, the ag world out there right now, okay, is, kind of looking for more drivers and such.
Yep.
Why? They lost some of these drivers through no green card.
That is true.
And whatever, and such. Now, the question is if the green card comes back, what happens to you at that point?
Mhm.
Are you out because they can hire this guy is so much cheaper and such like that? You've got other ones that are like,
what happens when the season ends?
Well,
You're in the same boat.
dump trucks.
Yes.
I laugh about guys with dump trucks. It's like, oh man, I'm making, I'm going over here, make all this money. And then, oh, they're going to lay me off. Well, so you went from making $2,500 a week to what do you get on unemployment of $700? Do the math, man. Do the math. At the end of the day, you've lost or left $15,000 on the table and such like that. So it's just one of those things that I really want. I want to take the opportunity here to everybody out there and say, hey guys, we know what's going on. The economy, it is gaining some momentum. Is everybody nervous about it? Yes. Are people making promises? Yes, because they're thinking, oh, we need to get our trucks full. We need to do this. But, it's moving a little too fast. It's got a lot of people nervous. If you look at the bigger companies, everyone's holding off on purchasing trucks. You look at, but when we look at our customers, we're busy. We have freight, but we've had freight all year long. So we really appreciate our customers, appreciate our drivers through that too. So thanks for giving me this time
I think the last thing real quick, I just saw somebody comment, maybe the most exciting thing to happen in Paulding County today is
I was going to say that.
The bridge is open, right?
The bridge is open.
Hallelujah.
Come here and get fuel.
Yes.
Yes.
But thanks guys.
All right. Thank you.
Down at the new Millennium Gates, where the heavy iron waits, the dawn breaks cold against for the kings of the outside lane, the ones who conquer the mountain and the rain. The Logisticized 101.